very rim of known space, justice is a long way away.
Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Space Game Junkie Podcast. I, as always, am your co-host, Brian. And joining me, as always, is your co-host, Spaz.
I've got two legs from my hips to the ground, and when I move them, they walk around, and when I lift them, they climb the stairs, and when I shave them, they... gunshot.
I know what that's from. What's that from?
It's Monty Python.
Oh, right. Been so long. Also joining us is your co-host, Julie.
Remember, Chicago is a sanctuary city in a democratic state with a lot of places to hide.
That was Los Angeles. Also joining us is your co-host, Thorsten. Yay! Your shit's working.
Yay! I'm back. It works. It works. So I'm still sad that I said I couldn't join last week.
Well, we're going to cover that
topic.
We're going to cover that topic again. Don't you worry. Also joining us is your co-host, Jacob.
The only thing about me is, in fact, the way I walk.
Nice. And your co-host, David.
You don't know.
So,
that is the second time I've made a joke. I made a reference to Genesis on this podcast, which I'm still amazed by. So yes, carry on.
So friends, we have a podcast topic today recommended for us by our user Savmass. He joins us on the streams most mornings. And we're going to talk about space legs. And if you're not sure what we mean by that, so there are a lot of, let's just say space trading games, let's just say space games where you fly a ship. And some games like, let's say Privateer and Rebel Galaxy Outlaw, you don't really walk around anywhere. You basically jump from menu to menu. Like when you're landed at a station, you don't like run around and do anything. You just jump from the trade screen to the weapons screen to the, that kind of thing. And there are other games like X4 and the one on the stream, Parkan 2, where you actually get up, walk around ships, walk around in Parkan's case planets. You don't walk around planets at all in the X games. And we've talked about, how I've talked about, at least, how I think most of the time this is bullshit. Excuse my language. Most of the time space legs are crap. They're not even necessary. And I didn't tell my co-host this because I thought it'd be funny and I wanted to hear their reactions. So you guys, I reinstalled Elite Dangerous so I could check out the space legs. Because they added wait, I installed it and then I forgot I installed it and didn't play it once. Because I didn't give a shit.
I mean, arguably not giving the game a fair chance, but also we don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think my time was better served by not playing it.
I will say I have actually tried out the space legs myself, and bloody hell, no, why?
Yeah, that's the question. That's really the ultimate question. Why? So I thought we'd start with the positive. And I want to talk about games that do space legs well. And there are several, that do well, but I think the reason why they do it well is because they're built from the ground up to do it well. And Parkan 2 is one such example. I remember when I first saw a demo of this at E3. Remember E3? Back in 2002. And I was just blown away by how you can run around the ships and everything, because you really couldn't do that in first person before this game. There were other games where you could walk around your ship, like what's that old Commodore game was that Rescue on Fractalus or whatever it was? You could walk around your ship that way. And the Breach games, you could walk around ships, kind of, sort of. So there were some games that let you walk around your ships, but not like in a first-person thing like this, where you felt like you actually had legs. So there are some games that do it well, and I wanted to talk about those first. Get the, start on the positive.
Before, let's be honest here, we inevitably devolve into 40 minutes of roasting Star Citizen.
And delete. But so I thought Park End 2 was a good example, but I also wanted to bring up Rodina. You guys remember Rodina, right? That space exploration game that's been in development for 80 years. Yep.
It's weird because it's legitimately a solid game. It is still getting updates, which are technically regular in that they happen like once every 3 years.
Yeah, they are glacial.
And you've got a playable game.
Yes, it's
and not a tech demo.
Right.
I still don't know how to feel about that game, but I do agree. Space Legs, very fun in there.
Yeah, because that guy, the developer of that game, he comes from like making, was it Morrowind or Oblivion? I think one of the Elder Scrolls.
Daggerfall.
Oh, was it Daggerfall? He would go back that far. He worked on one of the Elder Scrolls games, so that's like that when you make a space game that's the like that like comes from a game like Daggerfall, you're gonna have good space legs. So I think those are at least two examples of games that do space legs well, where it feels like a more natural part of the gameplay. It doesn't feel tacked on. It doesn't get in the way of doing what you should be doing. You know what I mean? It doesn't hold you back, which is weird. You know, space games are all about mobility. Space legs are all about mobility, and in some games, it's like, why do I have to run around to do this? So, but we'll talk. I think those are good examples of games where the space legs help the gameplay and don't get in the way of the gameplay. So, could you guys think of any good ones? I'm sure you can.
You bet.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you bet.
Julie, you spoke first. Go ahead.
Okay, I've got two examples.
Go for it.
And they're both for the same reason.
Okay.
No Man's Sky.
Good one.
And a game developer friend of mine calls Star Wars the Old Cash Grab. And the deal is Star Wars the Old Republic, obviously.
Wait, which one? Which one?
Star Wars the Old Republic.
Oh,
the one that came out. Now
the MMO, right?
Right.
Yes.
So the deal is now when you are in No Man's Sky, and the same goes. I'll explain the Star Wars, the Old Cash Grab, but you can get in your ship, but you only see around the cockpit. But this freighter serves a very useful purpose. You have your hangar for all your ships. You get inside. You can build your base to your heart's content, and it serves the same purpose. Even though in Star Wars, the Old Cash Grab, your ship, realistically, from a standpoint of gaming, doesn't ever leave the space station. What it is you get on your ship and then you appear someplace else. There was a game when I played it where you could actually fly it around, but the important thing is, to me, in a game like that, I'd like to have someplace I can call home, my base, and it's especially important and done well with that freighter in No Man's Sky because there are 255 galaxies, 256 if you know somebody has already been there. And instead of being limited to just one planet and one base and going back and forth and teleporting, I can put the whole thing inside my freighter and go from galaxy to galaxy to galaxy to galaxy and decorate it to my heart's content. So to me, when it's done well, it's when it serves a purpose. And having it be my home away from home definitely serves a purpose.
Okay. Good examples. David, I think you spoke next after Julie, I think. I think you did. You said you
maybe I didn't.
Or it was me.
Or okay,
Go with
Spaz.
Spaz.
Go with Spaz.
Okay.
Go for Spaz.
I was going to name No Man's Sky as well. But this is already covered. I don't need to cover it again.
Right.
Sorry.
Pulsar Lost Colony.
Oh, yes. Yes. Very
Not
good
only do
example.
you run around on your ship, but it's necessary to run around on your ship in order to keep it repaired during combat, or to man the turrets, or to jump onto the helm and keep the ship moving in an emergency situation. So that's necessary for that. But again, it comes back to your the game was built with that in mind from the very beginning and not tacking it on.
Yes. Also, this does bring back memories of the submarine campaign that we played on stream, which was
Glorious.
bloody brilliant.
Which was brilliant. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that's right. That was amazing. Spaz.
I also got to point out when we did play Pulsar, and we didn't stream it, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, guys, if you have friends and like playing co-op space games and you haven't played Pulsar Lost Colony, like, what are you waiting for? It's absolutely terrific.
Yeah, there was a slew of Artemis likes, games where you're all co-op people on board a starship doing stuff, and I feel like Pulsar is the best.
It is,
and the most accessible.
Agreed.
Of all of those.
I have said on record more than once, they did stuff in Pulsar I wish we had done in Quintet.
I was going to say no offense, Mr. Developer of Quintet here.
No, none taken. I was a backer on Pulsar too, so
yeah,
Kickstarter backer. So
game
Pulsar,
recognizes game.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, Pulsar is terrific. That's an excellent example. So wait, Spaz, help me remember. Wasn't there a single player version of like Pulsar that some guy made that was really funny? We had him on the show.
Oh yeah. That was actually
what was that game called?
Midwest Video Gaming who did it.
Yeah. What was that game?
Icarus Starship
Command Simulator.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Yeah, I can never remember the name of that damn thing, but
it's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, but I would put that in there as well because it's got that kind of similar vibe to Pulsar. In a single player environment. So I would put that one in there as well.
With a little bit of FTL as well.
Yes, that's right. And also
it costs $4 United States dollars. So
oh, by the way, folks, Parkan 2 right now, as I record this on GOG, is like 79 American cents. So if you don't own it,
as in cents.
Less than $1. Less than a goddamn dollar. So if you haven't bought it on GOG, I don't know what's going to be in your country, but here in America,
you can get an entire video game for less than the price of a stick of chewing gum.
Now, just to be, yeah, I know, but just a warning, it is very Russian. It is very, very mid 2000s Russian. Just know that going in. It is
weapons grade Eurojank. You could put that stuff in a reactor, and it would. Well, I'm not going to say work, but you know,
they have submarines armed with torpedoes with this kind of jank, hiding in the Baltic. So. It's so janky, but it's so great. So yeah, just a reminder, if you haven't played Parkan 2, it's so cheap right now. And I think it's only $4 on Steam normally. Like, I think it went down in price. When I bought
yes, looking at it right now, it's $4 USD.
Yeah, when I bought it, I think it was 6 or 8, but now it's 4. So that's even it's so janky.
And it's okay. I'm not going to say it's receiving updates. It gets like a patch every 6 to 10 months.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, Mozgron brought up a good one. Star Explorers. That's a good example. Yes, that's a good one.
That's a good example, but it lacks the space part a bit.
Doesn't it have a space part? I thought it did.
It does have a space part, but it's not really in the elite range of things. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'd still list it as a good example, though.
Star Explorers would have been a game I would have brought up last week.
Because
it's I mean it has
it is exploration. Yeah,
that's true. Well, hold that one for the next entry because we're gonna revisit that topic.
I have a long list.
Good. Yes.
I still had one more I was going to mention.
Oh, sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, which is, strangely enough, Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds or Outer Wilds?
Outer Worlds.
Okay, let's be...
Outer Worlds. You actually do... your ship is your home base, and you do run around it.
I'm willing to argue that we need to do a bit of... because this is not... Okay. The ship is largely just a movement hub. It's not a ship you ship stuff in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. I'll still allow it, but I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
It is currently on sale half off, which is the other reason I was going to mention it.
Oh, that's a good reason. I mean, I think in Outer Wilds you do walk around your little ship, don't you? I think I don't remember. But yeah, Outer Worlds you definitely have a ship. Oh, so Mosgrom brought up Starfield. Has anyone?
We'll get to that later.
Okay. All right. All right.
That is the most I'm willing to.
I'll say it kind of qualifies, but it kind of doesn't.
Oh.
If it qualifies, then we'll get to it later.
We're getting spicy today.
We'll get into why later.
Yeah,
Does it
good.
Does it qualify if the spaceship has crashed?
You're gonna have to elaborate.
Like, I think you mean if like you're on a planet, you're running around, and there's a big crashed spaceship.
In Subnautica, the spaceship has crashed, and it serves a vital role. It's difficult to go around in.
You don't use your legs.
No, actually, you do. If you've ever played Subnautica, absolutely.
You very minimally use your legs.
No. I mean, it's you actually the ship that is crashed that you escaped from. You actually have to go into it to retrieve parts to rebuild your base, to get technology. It's crashed and it's in the ocean, and you have to avoid the Kraken, but you walk around in it and explore it.
It's just
I'd say no on that one, only because none of that happens while it's in space.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically just a giant cave. It's just a giant metal cave at that point.
It's like a dungeon.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So, see, are there any other good examples? Oof.
Of course, I've got a lot.
Oh, go for it, Thurston. Go.
Okay.
Good examples. Good examples.
I always have good examples. Hey, what are you?
No, I mean positive. I mean positive examples, not you know what I mean. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. I've got to do a little history session first.
Okay.
The obvious one is the original one with Space Legs, and that is Mercenary.
Yep.
The 8-bit
right.
And then there's another one that is often forgotten, and that is Space Rogue. You had the 3D.
Of course.
You had the 3D space flight and the top down moving around on planets and space stations. That's very important to mention. The next one would be the Sentinel Worlds games.
That just came to mind while you were. That just came to mind while you were talking about Space Rogue. Was Sentinel Worlds,
and especially Hard Nova, the second one.
One of the hardest games ever, by the way. Hard Nova. It's brutally difficult if you ever want to.
I would love to. I would love to see a reimagination of this game.
Oh god, seriously. It deserves more time. I would love to spend more time in that universe with an updated game. You know what I mean? Like I would love to revisit that universe, but with like a new engine and everything, because it's a fascinating universe. And the gameplay was even though it was a brutally hard game, the gameplay is stellar in those two games. Absolutely stellar.
Yeah, absolutely stellar.
Yeah, no, those are good. Those are great examples.
And now I've got to mention the two obvious and recent ones. The Spaceborne games. Why don't nobody mention that one? Both.
Because there's
a
lot to talk about.
Can you walk around your
No, there's not.
Can you walk around your
to talk about.
I guess you can walk around space stations. Can you walk around your ship in that one? I guess you can get a mothership.
In the ship, not if I remember correctly, but at least on planets.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
And on space stations, you can also walk around.
But I think in
I am willing to agree with Spaceborne purely because it actually mixes both gameplay styles well, and isn't really dangerous.
Yeah.
And again, it's a case of it was built in from the start that it was going to have the walking around.
I haven't gotten like Spaceborne 2 has like giant motherships now, but I haven't gotten one because my God, and I don't know if you can walk around those or not. I wouldn't be surprised if you could, but I don't know. No, I don't know if
that game is a mystery to me, chiefly because, as we keep mentioning, it's there's a lot of stuff in there.
The developer just added radio stations, and I'm worried they use AI voices in it. But like, you fly around, there's a radio.
For sure.
Yeah, but you fly around, there's a radio station now, kind of like Rebel Galaxy. Kind of amazing. It's got ads and everything.
I recall now other game, and that's Lilith Odyssey. If you remember that, you streamed that one, Brian.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
That's another good one.
That's a good one. That is a good one. Mozgrom mentioned X4. I'm torn on that one. I don't know how to. So, are we done with the good ones? Are we moving to the bad ones? Should we have a category for I don't understand why this game has space legs? Because that's how I feel about X4.
I got one more then. Mass Effect.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, basically, you could in
it qualifies for it qualifies for the same reason I have listed Outer Worlds, that the ship is mostly there to just be a hub, but you do run around on the ship to talk to people and advance stuff. So sure.
So I guess I want to talk about X4 since it's been brought up. What bugs me about X4, and it's not a bad game, but what bugs me about X4 is, I'm not going to say it's a bad example of space legs, but I don't understand why the game has space legs to begin with. Like,
it's minimalistic and completely unnecessary.
Yeah, like I don't understand why I can't do everything from my spaceship menu. Why do I have to get out and run to the trader? Why do I have to get out and run to this other person? I feel it's silly, and it feels padding to me. It feels like it's padding the gameplay out, and I feel like I don't understand why it's there in that game. I'm not gonna say it does it poorly. I just, because it's not bad, it's like it's got transporters and things. It's got transporters and things, so it's not wasting too much of your time. But at the same time, I feel like it's kind of getting in the way.
Frankly, I liked it. I liked it in X4. Really, it's made the game a bit different to the previous ones, in my opinion.
I guess really, you call this category mixed. In that it is there are things that are negative about the space legs, but they don't necessarily make it a bad game.
I'm gonna mark this category questionable.
Fair. Let's go with that.
I like it.
Yes.
I'm not saying that it's bad though.
No, I can't say it's bad. It's just short of bugging me about getting in the way of the gameplay. How do I explain it? Like, I think I said it before. I don't understand why it's there to begin with. I don't understand why I can't just do everything from my cockpit.
I think a phrase that might apply here is it adds a little bit of busy work.
Busy work.
It's not necessarily bad because there are some times where you may actually want that, where it feels like
it's a nice little break from being in the cockpit. It's a little like, oh, get out and stretch your legs. But yeah, like that is the thing. Like, it doesn't add too much busy work, but it's still busy work. But it doesn't add so much that it gets in the way of me enjoying the game. But as I'm doing it, I'm running around like, why do I need to run around this station? It's kind of cool, I guess, but like, why? So I guess that's why I have it under the questionable category, because it's not bad. It's not bad. Thorsten, can you walk around your ship in Approaching Infinity? I don't know if you can. I don't think you can.
You walk around a lot of derelicts.
You do walk around a lot of derelicts. All right,
Yes.
I'll add that to the good. To the good.
There's both a lot of derelicts and again a good mixture of ground and space gameplay, which again, as mentioned, is uncommon.
Yeah.
Nobody's said faster than light yet. You can't play the game without walking around in your ship.
Oh,
That one, I'm not sure.
We are
I'm
really
not
stretching
sure.
the definition of space legs, aren't we?
Yeah, not. I wouldn't. I wouldn't put FTL there.
Yeah, because you're
Because-
not walking around yourself as a character. I think that's where we have to. I think that's one of the ways we have to kind of define space legs is that you are a character walking around the ship or the planet.
I mean, even
or
with
whatever.
Approaching Infinity, you're controlling a party of characters if you're walking around a derelict or on a planet. But that's at least you're in control of one unit or one character kind of thing. FTL, it's crew management.
Yeah.
There was a game we played like that, and for the life of me, I can't remember. It wasn't in Steam. It was someone else, and it was another top-down one. And we used to play it with. I think David was there and Luke, and everybody did have their own little individual character. And I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately.
Oh, it's kind of like
That was
FTL.
Pulsar.
But no. I remember
like
what you.
FTL.
No,
yeah.
it was like FTL. It was kind of top down, but you're controlling an individual
was,
character.
Right, and I
That
can't
was
remember the name.
warp.
This means warp?
Something
This
with
mean-
warp.
this means warp?
This means warp.
Right.
Yes, that's it. This means warp, and it
Okay.
is on my. It's down at the bottom, but yes, this means warp. And Mosgrom said Star Trek Online, but here's my problem with Star Trek Online. They added that just to shut people up. Really, the Star Trek Online walking around in your spaceship, they just really kind of added that to shut people up because
What?
realistically, it serves no useful purpose.
I'm going to put that on the poorly list because it's useless.
Also, what I didn't like with the Star Trek Online thing is every ship inside looks the same.
I know.
There's only one design for every ship.
Basically,
And the
yes.
scale is ridiculous. Like, wow, I didn't know a Reliant class was this big inside. It's so huge in here.
See, now, to be fair, they have changed that. You can change the inside depending on how big the ship it is. And also, if you get a custom ship, unlike the run-of-the-mill thing you should get on your, you get from the cash grab shop, if you get a custom ship, something from one of their events, usually all you get is a really special bridge just for that particular ship. And occasionally, to be fair, you'll get a ship that really is, in that case, useful, like the Ferengi ship you can connect to the marketplace.
Yeah, there are a few ships like that.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
there are some ships that do have a purpose with the space legs, aside from just using it as a hub.
Or if, like me, you are a big Voyager fan and you say, I want my own Voyager, you can use I have a lifetime subscription. I could just say, okay, I'm going to use my saved up points, wherever it is, to buy a duplicate of the inside of the Voyager. So that's I'm a big Voyager fan. So.
And Brian, before you go on, I've got another entry actually, and that's Scavenger as before, because
that's
basically you're floating inside your ship
Yeah,
and
true.
doing stuff, and it makes sense. It's integrated into the gameplay.
Game I will never, ever, 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 ever play again.
What's that knocking sound?
Man, it's so great. Why
Never,
not?
never, no, never. Game gave me nightmares.
Perfect.
It's a good game, but it's a game that
I'm
Brian will
not
never
saying
play
it's
again.
a bad game. It is a terrific game. It is a wonderful game. It is just a game.
I was just making that clear.
I'm just, what is that banging? Oh God. It's just my friend. She wants to say hi and eat my face. Okay.
Name's Jimmy.
Jimmy. Now I remember that commercial from Rebel Galaxy Outlaw. Hey, Jimmy.
What about Warframe?
Oh,
Warframe has everything, and everything in it is done to a mediocre level.
And
Yeah.
are we talking about the list set or are we talking about the Railjack?
Or
Yes, Jacob, something like that.
or that other thing that I forgot the name of.
I don't.
Which does describe 90% of Warframe, doesn't it? That other thing that I forgot the name of.
Yep.
So, like, you do have kind of a ship in Warframe, don't you? Sort of? Kind
Yes,
of?
you do.
Yes.
Sort of?
And you can
You also
change
have,
around
like-
and improve it.
You technically also have an entire method of how do you say? You technically have, there's also the Railjack mini game, which is like a co-op flying around on a ship thing. Then you have one person piloting and 3 others doing stuff on board. And then the developers forgot about it.
Did
Like
the
many gameplay functions.
Did the developers just move on to the next shiny thing? Is that what happens?
They do this. Yes.
Do you remember Lunaro, Jacob?
What?
Wasn't that the PvP or was that the freaking soccer? The soccer
The soccer
mode?
game, yeah.
Oh,
Right.
that thing.
They
Did anyone
had-
actually play that?
Wait.
No,
Hang on.
Exactly.
Wait. There was a soccer game in
Yes, there
Warframe?
was a
Yes.
multiplayer soccer minigame in Warframe that the developers put together and then forgot about after like a month.
That's like that thing they did with Elite Dangerous where they had those arena battles that were supposed to be separate from the main game, but you could like,
Oh right, only
no.
Dangerous Arena that they added into the game and forgot about,
and then took it out without any kind of ceremony or anything.
and no one cared
And
because
no
no
one
one
cared.
played it.
Because there was no reason to. There was no nothing about that thing transferred to like the main game. So what was the point? There was no real point except bragging rights. There was no meta reason to do it, which is it was so dumb. It was a great idea, but the implementation, like a lot of things with Elite, it's
I
just so
think you could win credits that you could transfer to your main game, but
really.
Maybe we
would
at
you-
this point just carry on to the roasting half of this
Alright,
podcast because clearly we want to.
All right, let's
Do we
move
have
on.
any other questionables, or should we just move on?
Do we have any other questionables? Because like X4 is a questionable for me. Do we have any other games where like I'm not sure what Space Legs actually added? Like, why
Yes,
is-
I have a questionable one.
go for it.
I disliked the game because of the way it handled, but the game that you just covered a while ago, that's the little Star Trekker.
That would, I think, it's going on the bad list.
Oh, that's
Okay.
that's going on the bad list. I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. Save it for the bad
Really?
list.
Because okay, so let's start with Star Trucker. Let's just get into it.
I haven't played. Okay, I played the demo and I didn't play. But how bad does it get?
It's so infuriatingly frustrating. I wanted to throw my controller through the monitor at the end of my stream with it, and it just breaks my heart because there really isn't a good space trucking game. Maybe Jumpgate, maybe Elite,
And
maybe,
who still plays Jumpgate?
No, it's-
Brian.
and like 5 other people. But you can play it for free. You can still play it. But Star Trucker, like, they made it unnecessarily fiddly. Like, there's no in-system map. There's no GPS of any type. So if you need to get to a certain place, you have to figure it out on your own. Which, it's a spaceship. I need directions. Come on. But what we're talking about here is they're you can turn this down in the game, but there are survival aspects to the game, and sometimes you'll have to fix a thing. So that means getting up from your seat, your nice padded pilot seat, which looks like a roller coaster chair. It doesn't have a seatbelt. It's got that bar that comes down. And going to your little back area and picking up a battery and replacing the battery. Why do I need to do that? Why do I need to get up to do that? Why do I need to?
Well, see,
I'm going to say that's not necessarily bad. It's fiddly, but it's not necessarily bad. Some people like that.
I agree.
I don't think it's bad. My complaint was, why in God's name is it just loose and not fastened down?
That's another good question. Yeah, especially when you turn off the gravity and everything just starts floating around. That's dangerous. That's really, really dangerous.
Realistically, can you see NASA designing a space shuttle that way?
No, God, no.
Well, it also seems like the trucks in that game were designed by the lowest bidder.
Oh, God. Yeah, so you actually have to move around your truck to get these parts, which is, I think it's silly, and it's just fiddly. It's just padding out the gameplay. It's just making like that. When I'm thinking of a Star Trekking game, I'm thinking of something like Euro Truck Sim 2 in space. I don't repair my own truck. I don't repair my own.
I was hoping for. Yeah.
I don't repair my own truck in that. I drive it to a mechanic. You know, I don't pull over and open the hood. And what? I don't do that in you. I that would be a very different game.
Now, I do imagine that there are real life truckers who actually do their own maintenance or some of their own maintenance.
Yeah, of course, but that's not the game.
But that's not necessarily conducive to good gameplay.
Exactly. Like they have games where you're fixing ships, like that Space Mechanic Simulator and stuff. But what Star Trucker tried to do was mix piloting gameplay with like tin can gameplay. It tried to do both, and it succeeded at neither. I think,
and that's not even that's not even counting for where you have to go and dock at multiple places just in order to do different tasks at a station.
That drove me crazy. There's no reason.
Let's
for
be
that.
real. There's no reason for that.
No.
Aside from it's a gameplay decision that I don't know why people would like that.
I love the guy in the one stream. He's like, just undock and fly up and dock again. He's like, that's not the point. That's not why I'm upset. Oh, man. Yeah, I would say Star Trucker is a bad example because it gets in the way of the game. You stumble over your own feet to play it, basically. It doesn't really, I don't think it adds anything. Honestly, I don't think it adds anything. You know, I think it's just a waste of time. So Star Trucker, I would say, is a game that does it poorly because it gets in the way of enjoying the game, I think. And yeah,
it's not streamlined.
No. Oh God, no, it's not. It's almost like it was made by Eastern Europeans in 2007. It feels like that kind of janky, kind of Tomorrow War, kind of Star Wolves kind of jank. And I usually love that kind of jank, but this was obtrusive. This was obstructive jank. And I didn't enjoy that at all. Yeah, I would say Star Trucker is a bad example of Space Legs because it like gets in the way of the game. And I would say Star Trek Online is a good example of a game. I want to throw out a game that does it well real quick. Just real quick. In relation to Star Trek Online. I don't know if you guys ever played the old Star Trek adventure games that came out in the 80s, mostly from Simon and Schuster. But you could walk around the entirety of the Enterprise in that game. And it was
fancy.
Wonderful. It was a text game, yes. But still, just wonderful. Just absolutely. Just going to add Star Trek text adventures. But yeah, those were great. Those are, if you've never played those you guys, they're definitely, and you like text adventures, they're really great. There are 4 of them, I think. Yeah, there's a few of them, and they're very good. They're very good. But yeah, you could, as Captain Kirk, walk around basically the entirety of the Enterprise and talk to people. It's really, like, for the 80s, especially, like, fascinating. No, not Rebel Galaxy. That's a Star Trek Rebel Galaxy. Oh, yes, that one. That was or something like that. No. That's a different game. Rex. No.
Different thing entirely.
That's a different thing entirely. What was that? That was a graphical adventure game, I think. Anyway. I don't think you could walk around in the interplay adventure games. I don't think you could walk around your ship too much. You could a little bit, yes, but I don't think there was really much in the way of space legs in those adventures. I don't think. Okay, so to the poor list, should we just add Elite Dangerous and Star Citizen and just talk about those real quick?
Boy. Quote unquote, real quick.
Finally.
So, as I said, I really legitimately meant after last week's show, I'm like, okay, I'll just reinstall Elite Dangerous. I've got the lifetime pass, so I should have Odyssey. Yes, I bought a lifetime pass back in 2016. There, mistakes were made. And and I'm like, okay, I'll install it. Okay, it's done installing. I'll give this a try later. 1 week later, I completely forgot. I just wasn't interested enough. I just wasn't interested enough to reinstall it. I mean, to play it. But it did just get a big update.
Once again, Elite's biggest problem rears its ugly head. There is nothing to do in it besides make bigger numbers of money. And the space legs give you minimal amounts of cash and very little else.
Yeah. I still am just baffled that they didn't copy more from Elite 2 Frontier or Frontier Elite 2. Like, they should have just copied that and made it better graphics, and they would have had a great game. But nope. Nope, they had to try and be an MMO, which no one wanted.
Poorly.
Yeah.
They weren't going to convince EVE Online players. If the EVE Online players haven't left already, then like they're the sort of diehards that you can't like scrape away from the game with a goddamn pair of pincers, industrial grade pincers.
Well, I guess part of me wonders if they listened to the portion of the community that wants multiplayer with everything. You know how they're those guys that go on the Steam forums and ask about every game. Will there be multiplayer with this?
Yeah.
Under the theoretical idea that multiplayer inherently adds longevity and infinite replayability to a game, which not really.
Yeah, I agree.
It certainly depends on the game.
Yeah.
But if the game works best as a single player experience, adding multiplayer will not necessarily make it better.
But I've actually talked to people who like go on about having multiplayer and everything all the time, and that's the argument they make the most, because multiplayer theoretically can extend the game's lifespan dramatically, even without adding stuff and content updates. Well, that's the logic they're following. That means that they get more of their money's worth. They're also the same people who will ask how many dollars will I get per hour, or how many hours will I get out of X dollars in a game.
Have they seen those?
So it's the same logic.
Have they seen the launch of these multiplayer only games that die on impact? Like there was,
apparently not.
I don't remember the name of it now, but there was a space game that came out like 9 or 10 years ago. It was multiplayer only. It was arena based. And when it came out, nobody freaking played it.
That does not narrow it down in the slightest.
It didn't have bots or anything.
Are you talking Boundary?
No. It was a spaceship game. I'll never remember the name because it came out like a decade ago.
Don't mention Boundary. I was so sucked for this game, and it was so bad.
Remind me of what? Wait, what? Which game were we talking about?
It was
a spacewalking shooter.
Yes, it was a near future zero-G shooter that tried to be both Rainbow Six Siege and Call of Duty and a tactical shooter, and it was kind of mediocre at all of them.
Oh,
And I feel old here. Sorry.
Mediocre is really an understatement. It was bad. It was simply bad.
Yes. If you remember Shattered Horizon somehow,
Yep.
yes, I do remember.
Yeah.
then it was like that.
Oh.
Shattered Horizon, that's a different story. Namely, yes, it's a lesson. It's a lesson that you had to learn. You don't have to learn anymore. But don't release games exclusive to Windows Vista.
Wait, what?
I forgot about that. Oh,
forgot
no.
about
Literally, the only reason
about that.
why this game died, and I'm saying this as a certainty, is because it was a 64-bit only game at a time where the only 64-bit operating system available was Windows Vista.
Fantastic.
If this thing had come out, hold on, Windows 7. If this game had come out, I'm sorry, 2 months later, then it would have come out on Windows 7 and people would have actually played it.
Yeah. Agree.
Because Windows 7 wasn't the worst operating system released by Microsoft since Millennium Edition.
Oh God.
So dragging this back to Space Legs,
Kicking and screaming. Yes.
kicking and screaming, yes, as usual on this podcast. We were going about, I believe, Elite Dangerous and how it was dreadful.
Yeah.
We were going to mention Star Citizen and how it is dreadful.
Yes.
Has anyone been mad enough to actually play it recently and say how it's going and say how things are going?
I wanted to talk about Elite Dangerous real quick before we move on to Star Citizen. They added
We're
space.
listening.
They added space legs, but not for the part like. Am I remembering correctly with the space legs in Elite Dangerous? You cannot walk around your ship or the space station.
Nope.
It
No,
is.
sir.
Nope.
It is only
It is
specific planets.
It's specifically the weird first-person shooter missions.
So
And matching circles.
That nobody wanted.
That zero humans have asked for. Because, people have wanted space legs insofar as they wanted to walk around their cool, fancy, and expensive and very well-modeled spaceships that already have detailed interiors, mind you.
Yeah.
I feel like my brain cells
Yes.
are slowly
Continue, please.
Not play very bad, very bad Quake? Question mark.
Yes.
I guess Quake
Yes.
would be the most with the most dreadful AI imaginable in first-person shooters, which is impressive because first-person shooters are not known for good AI.
And Jacob, let's not forget also that after all the grinding you have done for your ships and engineering them, now to do that with your FPS gear as well.
Oh right, your FPS gear has an entirely separate grinding track that you need to
What?
level up separately from everything else.
Oh, for
that does not allow you to earn anything for your actual ship, the thing you bought the game for.
Yeah.
And you would. We should mention that everything you buy for your spacesuit is more expensive than everything you buy for your ships.
what?
Yeah, for some reason, a single gun costs more than a Cobra Mark III.
Yep.
A single rifle costs more than a Cobra, than an entire multi-thousand-ton spaceship with an interstellar jump drive.
The economy has really gone downhill in the future.
Oh my God.
Which I do believe does tie into somewhat of a problem with making space. With making
We can mass produce ships, but all these rifles, they have to be handmade.
Yeah, this does tie into a problem that I feel like you end up having with like trying to mix like shooter gameplay and space gameplay. Is that if you're a person with a spaceship, you're at a power level. You're like a power level where you know you have a goddamn weapon. It's like if you. I just was reminded of something. It's not Space Legs, but it illustrates my idea problem. There was a Thulsa, I believe you know this game, Carrier Command Gaia mission.
Okay. Yeah.
Don't shoot on this one.
Yes, because while it is about operating an entire carrier, like a proper carrier warship with like VTOL aircraft and tanks, you could launch out of it, and it's really cool. For some reason, the campaign had shooter sections in it where you just like get off of the humongous aircraft carrier, grab a gun, and just go about gunning people.
Wait, what?
What?
In a game,
Robots.
in Carrier Command.
See, this is why I didn't want to add Battlecruiser 3000 to the list when someone mentioned it earlier.
Which yes, this is exactly the issue where you can end up having. I'm playing Elite Dangerous. I have a freaking Anaconda. This is a 2,000-ton like light cruiser. I could wipe out in universe. I could wipe out a small town by pressing the trigger on my flight stick twice. Why am I walking places with a freaking assault rifle?
Oh man! So
I really want to know which drugs the designers had when they included this mechanic. I really want to know.
And I have one more question about Elite for you guys who have played it. When you land to go to one of these first-person missions, do you walk out of your ship and can you like turn around and look at your ship, or do you just magically appear?
I don't remember.
You get a fade to the black transition.
Wait.
Thank you, Thorsten. You get a fade to black transition, and you just appear in the circle.
You don't. Oh my god.
It hurts, doesn't it?
It's so lazy.
Yes.
It's so lazy.
Especially because they have done it properly with the freaking, with the goddamn little buggy you get. Like, the devs of Elite Dangerous know. Right. They know, and we know that they know that how much you care about the physicality of your ship. And how, like, if you launch a combat an exploration vehicle or a fighter, you physically get to sit in a cockpit, watch the launch sequence and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
But you can't do the same with legs.
Oh god, oh god. Oh come on. All right, so I think we've spent a good amount of time crapping on Elite because it deserves it. So let's crap on Star Citizen a bit. The last time I played Star Citizen, which has been a while, it's been a few years. I was very surprised at how much of a waste Space Legs actually were. Like, I know they're trying to make this, you're going to live in the future. It's going to be so immersive. But, like, why do I want to run to a clothing store in the future? You know, why do I want to run to a bathroom? I feel like I don't understand.
When I have a spaceship.
Yeah, I just want the spaceship. That's what I signed up for Star Citizen in the beginning. I'm like, oh, it's going to be a sequel to Freelancer. Okay, cool. That's what I wanted.
Most people are paying money, including 4-digit sums, for the Car King spaceships.
I remember David streaming the game, and he wanted to show me the mining mechanics. There was something new introduced. He did need 45 minutes until he got to the fucking...
Oh, I have more stories, Torsten. I have more.
I know. Which you could mine with. And then another 10 to 15 minutes until he came to a place which he could actually mine.
Gameplay.
We waited for over an hour until something happened.
Immersion.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
That's not immersion. That's wasting time.
Oh God.
Like you could get away with that in like the X games where you have time acceleration, not in an MMO.
And again,
Like-
X does as much as it annoys me sometimes. X has teleporters and things to move.
And also, I'm willing to argue EVE Online wastes your time less. Because at the very least, there the distance has a point, and like there's like territory control and such, and not just fly for an hour with nothing possibly being able to happen to you to get to a rock.
And we talk about EVE Online here, which is a side job.
Yes.
For some people, it's a primary job.
Yeah.
Didn't Eve have didn't at one point Eve have a thing where you could walk around your room in a space station?
They had walking
Yes.
stations, yeah.
They had walk-in stations. They then removed it because no one liked it and no one used it. Honestly, myself included.
It's played it for 6 years. It served no purpose whatsoever.
It was a menu with aspirations. So, like on that front, it really wasn't much of a loss. Especially since 90% of people wanted to stare at their cool, fancy spaceship and not at the 20-year-old character models.
How come nobody said anything about Starfield?
Well, I was going to mention it before we wrapped up, but I
Go
want to
ahead.
put it into the questionable category rather than the bad.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
get the feeling we're going to have to extend out that one.
That's
Because
Well, I'll make it quick. The
fine.
way you design your ship, you can walk around your ship. That's something that is pretty cool. The problem is that, and they may have fixed this since the time I last played it, every time you change your layout of your ship, it spawns in new items, or at least it did. I can't
remember
recall whether or not that fixed, but it would spawn in new items that would be in the default layout of the individual modules, and then you'd have a whole bunch of stuff you'd have to move around again. Now, if they fixed it, cool. And if they did, then that makes it better because you could actually put up trophies of specific weapons that you got from really tough enemies, or putting up a whole bunch of plants in one of the modules if you really wanted to decorate it however you'd like. But then you run into one other problem with the design. If you don't recall exactly how you designed your ship, it can be a maze to get in or out of it. And when you are raiding derelicts or trying to capture a ship, if you don't know the layout, you could be running around and getting lost because you didn't know there was a door in a certain place.
Oh god.
yeah. And I will admit, my favorite part of Starfield was the ship designer.
It was.
Oh
pretty.
yeah, I like the ship design.
Everything
That is
else
kinda
I
cool.
have varying levels of issues with, but the ship designer was genuinely very fun to use.
See,
And the NASA aesthetic was pretty damn cool as well.
to be fair, a feature in the game is if you don't want to walk through your ship, you click on the front door and go right to the cockpit.
Yeah, there are some faster ways to go around things now, but I'm going to say it's unquestionable just because some of those initial decisions didn't necessarily make things better. But there's a lot about the game that I still like. Don't get me wrong.
Someday I'll play it. Not in a
And
rush.
the lack of storage contributes to instant junkyard.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
There's
So,
almost no storage in it.
What?
Yeah, there are some. So basically, you have storage space that is finite, but you can get around that by picking up stuff and then just dropping it on the floor
What?
of your ship. Yeah.
Because this is still a Bethesda game on an engine that at this point is like 30 years old.
Bethesda, what?
It is kind of funny. It is kind of funny that you could do that. As I said, there are good things about it. Like if you take the kid stuff perk for your starting traits, you get Nana Visitor and Tim Russ as your parents.
yeah. And It looks like it does a few things right. I know some people you liked it.
It does a lot right.
You liked it. I know a lot of people who liked it. I know a lot of people who actually legitimately enjoyed it.
I'm still very much conflicted.
I know a lot of people also are like, why does this exist? Why don't we have Elder Scrolls 6 at this point? Why do we have this? So I could see why that's in the questionable field, because I think that whole game is kind of questionable.
Well, I mean, there's more that I liked about it than disliked, but there are certainly enough things to nitpick that it puts it into a questionable category.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm happy that we had more good examples than bad. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. I was worried it was going to be the opposite, but we came up with a lot of good examples, so that's good.
Well, two of the bad ones we can extend quite a bit. So,
and to be fair, a lot of the ones that are not necessarily great are just forgettable.
Yeah, it's true. There are probably some forgettable ones.
Well, what about Space Engineers? It doesn't have an interior unless you put one in, and I always did. Doesn't serve a purpose, but I always put one in.
No, it's getting on my nerves right now.
Yeah,
you mentioned all the games I hate. Space Engineers is the last one.
We were doing the bad ones, so
I do not believe, even by this, I do not believe, even by the lows we've reached in this topic, that Space Engineers is worth talking about.
No, it's not.
I've got to mention something. There's a second Space Engineers actually announced yesterday or on Monday.
Wait, what?
Yay!
Wait, what happened?
Yes.
They announced Space Engineers.
My excitement is coming to a middle.
They announced Space Engineers 2?
More or less. They haven't named it yet.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, did they already? Okay, whatever. I don't trust those guys to make a game anymore. Ever since they killed the game I actually liked, Minor Wars 2031 or whatever it was called.
I remember.
Anyone remember Medieval Engineer?
I just
do not remember.
I just remembered Medieval Engineers as we were talking about this. So yeah, I'm not happy. I'm not completely happy with what are they named? Keen. I'm not completely keen on them.
Keen Software. Apparently not very keen at making their games good.
All right. Well, hopefully, I mean, maybe it'll be better than Kerbal Space Program 2. I don't know.
Man, we're ending on a low note today.
No, so
it's been one of those. Been one of those shows.
So to wrap up, friends, I hate to do this. I know we just took up a couple of breaks, but next week we're off for 2 weeks. Next week is Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. We always take that week off, so that one was known. But I just yesterday got scheduled for cataract surgery on Wednesday, December 4th, which is 2 weeks from now. So we're going to be off for 2 weeks. I'm sorry about that, but it is what it is. I know we just had some breaks, but it's been a weird year, okay? So please give us some grace. It's been a weird year. I'm sorry about the breaks. We try to do this every week, but sometimes stuff happens. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. I think we're going to do a check-in. We haven't done one of those in a while. So we'll see you back here in 2 weeks. I'm sorry about the break again, but it can't be helped. But thank you everyone for sticking around, for your patience, for being awesome. You guys are great and we love you. Thank you as always to our patrons for keeping the lights on around here and paying for things like Restream. Please don't forget to get vaccinated, especially in the States while you can before they go away. Wear your masks. Get all your shots. I just got a bunch of shots. Not just COVID. I got shingles. You're supposed to get shingles over 50. I just got a shingle shot. And don't forget to wear your helmet. So have a great day, everyone. And I think we'll probably do Microsoft Flight Simulator tomorrow. I was able to turn off AI voices, so that's not a concern. It's just the load times are not great on my older computer. But I think we'll give it a shot tomorrow, just to see how it goes. So thanks so much for everyone, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.